Hey everybody, welcome to the Avondale Talk Show. I am your host, Deanna Cauthen.
And I'm Adrianna Cauthen, your co-host, and we're the mother-daughter talk show that's here to elevate your family. If you haven't done so already, please take a second to like this video and to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our latest episodes.
Yes, and we have a terrific show planned for you today in our Around the Town segment. The Elevate Talk Show takes you right down the road, literally right down the road from where we sit to the Avondale Estates community where the Atlanta Tiny House Festival took place a couple of weeks ago, and we had the best time. I've been wanting to go to a Tiny House Atlanta event for some time, so when my husband got some tickets and said we were going to go, I was super excited. We had a great time, and we're going to be sharing that adventure with you during our Around the Town segment. Then we will be doing one of our newest segments called the Perspective segment, and this is where we talk about a particular question, and we also present that question to our audience, which would be you. And the question this week was, do you think the American educational system is broken? So we discussed that in our Perspective segment, and we want to invite you, our viewers, to share your comments, share your thoughts with us on our YouTube page, on our YouTube channel. So go to the comments section and answer the question, do you think the American educational system is broken? And so, yes, and then after that, Adrianna, what?
So this week in our Meal of the Week segment, I'm going to be showing you how to make some quick fluffy biscuits, which are a great side dish, or you can use them in the morning to make breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah. We love her biscuits. They are wonderful, yummy for the tummy. That's all I'm going to say. Not so great on the hips, but yummy for the tummy. So she's going to be showing you how to make that, and you absolutely do not want to miss that. So we have a great show for you, planned for you today. We've got to take a little bit of break. Don't go away. We will be right back. We will be discussing the question, which today is, do you think that the American educational system is broken? That's the question that we will be talking about in our Perspective segment. And we also have put that out there to you, our audience. We'd love for you to spend a little time, go to our YouTube channel, and in the comments section, tell us what you think. Do you think that the American educational system is broken? Adriana, what do you think? What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's definitely broken from preschool to PhD. The whole thing's a mess.
Wow.
Well, one thing that's a huge problem is that in America, our teachers usually they have education degrees, but they don't have degrees in the subject that they're teaching. So they're not always able to explain the concepts to students, especially in the areas of math or science, which is why we really lag behind other countries in those areas.
Definitely. And as if the system wasn't stressed enough, for the last year and a half or so, we've been dealing with a pandemic. Which really showed up it put an already stressed system under more stress. And so if there were cracks in the system before, now there's just out and out breakage. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the pandemic has really showed things up. I mean, there's a lot of students that don't have access to computers. There's a lot of students that don't have access to internet. And the schools weren't necessarily aware of that. And they were just, putting out these online lessons, and the students weren't even receiving them.
And so, and to be fair, I think that the majority of our teachers and administrators are under a great deal of stress because so many of them are having to do jobs that really are not theirs to do. It shouldn't be that the teachers have to be parents. They shouldn't have to be doctors. They shouldn't have to be psychologists unless they are actually school psychologists, and then still be expected to, crank out curriculum and lesson plans and buy their own. Many of these teachers have to dig into their own pockets and buy materials not just for themselves, but for their students. And I think, and so I just want to be sensitive to the fact that so many teachers are trying to do a good job, but they're under a great deal of strain, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree. It's not the teacher's fault at all. I mean, they're trying to do the best they can to help these students. It's really the governments and the people in charge that are not not adding enough funding to the school systems and giving teachers, students, and parents enough support.
Yeah, and to expect these teachers to come in, especially during a pandemic, and put their lives at risk, I think was just completely unfair. And so I just think that everybody, both students and teachers alike, have really suffered, especially during this pandemic. And so it's been a very difficult thing to watch. And I think there have been a lot of lessons that we could learn from this last year and a half, 19 months or so. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely
a lot of lessons out. I'm hoping that the powers that be are taking note and maybe learning some of those lessons and making some of the changes that need to be made for everybody's sake. Well, we are going to continue this conversation in our next segment with Nicole Doyle, who is the president of DeKalb Christian Home Educators. So don't go away. We got to take a little break, but we will be right back.
Back to the Elevate Talk Show, and today in our continuing the conversation segment, we're going to be talking to Nicole Doyle.
Nicole Doyle is a good friend of mine. She is also the president of the DeKalb Christian Home Educators. She's a veteran, a home educator, and she and the group provide academic support and social interaction for homeschoolers across the metro Atlanta area. Nicole, along with her husband Willie, homeschool 4 children, and her goal is to support parents as they seek solutions and practical wisdom for her children. So we had a conversation about school in general, homeschooling in particular, and the ins and outs of that. She gives some really great advice. So take a look at our interview with Nicole Doyle. Well, Nicole Doyle, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule as a veteran homeschooler to sit down and talk with me and my audience. I've got a lot of things I want to pick your brain about, so we're going to get straight into the interview. I guess the first thing I'd like to ask you is to can you tell us a little bit about your family and your homeschooling journey, how you got to this point?
All right. Well, I'm a homeschooling mom of 4 children, ranging in age from 10 to right now. I have a college senior at Kennesaw State.
Wow.
My husband and I, we do homeschool together. He handles the math and the science.
Wow.
And I handle most of the reading and literature and things and history along those lines. Right. Our official homeschooling journey really started in 2014 when we decided to start homeschooling. But like so many homeschool moms, I am truly a researcher.
Yes.
So during that time, I just basically did a lot of research on homeschooling and happened to come across a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot remember the author's name, but I remember the title.
Yes.
And it is How to Homeschool Your African-American Boys into the Ivy League.
Oh my God. Wow.
And I remember seeing that book and going, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Wow.
And just from there, just starting to do the research, and my children were in school at the time. Mm-hmm. And I actually had an elementary school teacher to suggest to me homeschooling because my 5th grader at the time was having some difficulties.
Right.
And she was like, you know what, because he works so slowly, he would benefit from more time. She said, and you're always at the school. Right. I was the room parent. I actually was the assistant librarian.
Sure.
People thought I was an employee that was there so much.
How often you at the school.
And so there she said, you know what, you could homeschool. Yeah. You actually have the time, and I've watched you with other kids running reading programs. Sure. And so just having an educator to actually pour into me and to say that. I know other people say they may have other situations with the public school system, but she was absolutely just such a wonderful, just a wonderful support in the beginning of just encouraging me to do that and I remember she said, you only get one shot at this.
It's an amazing story, Nicole. What a great mentor for you and an encouragement to you. That's terrific. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit it hard with this next question. Do you think that the American school system is broken? And did that factor into, was that one of the reasons why you homeschooled or at least continue to homeschool? I'm just curious what your thoughts are about that.
Well, I feel like the American school system is definitely fractured. There's definitely some cracks in the foundation.
That's a good
broken.
That's a good way.
I wouldn't say totally broken because I'm a product of the public school system. And like so many of my wonderful homeschooling parents, we see that we survived.
Right.
But we don't want our children just to survive. We want our children to flourish and to thrive in a different way. Right. And so what I would say about the school system is that definitely is a safety net for those children, those parents who are not equipped at this time to take on the educational responsibility of their children. Right. But for those parents who are blessed enough to be able to jump in the trenches, who are able to, and let's be honest, it is a privilege to be able to step away from corporate America and take on the responsibility of your children. Yeah, absolutely. But definitely the school system has problems, and those problems there are systemic problems within the school system that basically are based, that have biases based upon class, gender, and race. Yes. And many African American and even Latinx families that I have talked to did pull their children out of school because they felt like their children were intellectually marginalized. Wow. They were never seen as being the child that could be in your gifted program or participate in certain projects, or I've even heard a parent say that the school counselor never recommended any of the scholarships to her child, even though her child had above a 3.9 GPA. So we're watching our children being academically marginalized. We're watching them, teachers even have biases toward children that they don't even realize. Research has shown us there is a preschool. Yes. A preschool to prison pipeline. African American boys are punished at a higher rate than other children. And African American girls are now being seen as older. Yes. Oh, yes. In many academic situations. And so I would say that there are many fractures in our American school system. But as parents, when we decide to take on that role, we are doing our children a great service that's not just for today, but it's about legacy, and just being able to sit back one day and look at your children flourish and thrive, and actually have that tenacity and grit to get through life. So we're not just teaching. So school can't teach all of those things. Sometimes parents, we definitely have to come alongside school if your children are at school. Right. But if you're able to homeschool, I definitely say take some time to evaluate what is your child getting in that situation? Is everything your child need there?
And this brings me to my next question. The pandemic forced a lot of parents whose children normally attend traditional school to play a more active role in educating their own children. I had a lot of parents say, I'm homeschooling like you. I was like, not exactly, but I didn't actually say that to them, but but I get what they were saying. They were saying this is just all the way live what we're having to do. So the pandemic put them in a position because children were learning from home for a long time. As a veteran homeschooler, what I want to know is, did any parents reach out to you? Did you get any feedback from parents about that aspect of things?
I heard from a variety of parents during the pandemic, and they range from, girl, help me. What do I do to I just need you to tell me who I need to call to take this on. And so I listen to them, and I always say that I commend any mother that's in the middle or father in the middle of a situation, and they have the courageous, authentic conversation with a person to say, I don't know what to do, and I just need some help. We should always, in a homeschool community and any community of education, just open our arms and say, you know what?
Yes.
It's okay. You're doing your best.
Yes.
And listen to them and let them vent, because 75% of that conversation is going to be a straight up vent.
That's exactly right. Because it was a very difficult, stressful time for a lot of parents. Girl, you are a wealth of information. I knew you were the girl to talk to. And so I'm sitting here marveling at you, so proud of you, so grateful that you are a part of the homeschooling community, that you're such a blessing and such a resource, so knowledgeable about various aspects. I think the homeschooling community is super blessed to have you there. And I'm just thrilled that things, I've been out of it for a little bit, but to come back and hear you women like you speak and work and see what y'all are doing, I'm just blown away, girl, blown away. So I could talk to you another half hour about all the things that there is. There's just so many things I know I haven't covered, but I think that you've given my viewers a really good overview of what homeschooling looks like, specifically of what it looks like, what the requirements in Georgia, and why it's such a good option for people in general, and specifically for families of color. I think you've given us that today, but don't be surprised if I reach out to you to pick your brain about some other aspects.
Yeah, and now I say thank you. And I want to make sure I want to say one more thing. So if you want to actually get a list of all of the homeschool resources that are free, including curriculums, homeschool days, and everything, if you go to our website at dcheducators.com, that is DCHE. Educators. So it's 2 E's in the middle.
And I'll put up the link.
EDUCATORS. .com /resources. We have a window that we have on that page. We have every single thing that is free.
Wow.
And you can look at it from a variety of places. And I just want to speak to the mom who's on the fence. I'm going to give you, and like a homeschool mom, I'm going to give you some homework. And here is your homework. Your homework right now as a mom is to evaluate what fingerprints do you want to be left on the legacy of your children?
Wow.
And in that moment, I want you to write down what you wish for your children. As far as like dreams. And I'm not talking about those superficial things. I want them to have a good job, and I want them to go into a great college or things like that. Because guess what? When you do your job, all those blessings will come and you won't even have to worry about it. But I want you to evaluate and look at your baby's heart and really say, you know what? Are they sensitive in this particular area? And I need to pour a little bit more love. Are they weak in this area? And maybe I need to apply a little bit more discipline in this area. But I want you to know you can do this. You are the key, and we are all rooting for you to be a successful family and to really give your children everything they need. So God bless y'all.
That's what a wonderful way to end this session. What a word of affirmation and encouragement. Girl, we will talk again. In the meantime, be blessed. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you too.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that informative interview with Nicole Doyle. We need to take a little break, but we will be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back, and right now we are going to be going around the town to the Tiny House Atlanta exhibit in Avondale Estates, Georgia. Avondale Estates is literally up the road from us, and we went over there a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yes, we did. We went to go see the tiny house exhibit and tour several different tiny homes, and we had a great time.
Yeah, we had a wonderful, wonderful time. And so we have a Tiny House Atlanta adventure to show you. Take a look at our video. This week's Around the Town adventure takes us a few minutes down the road to the Tiny House Atlanta exhibit in Avondale Estates, Georgia. Tiny House Atlanta is a program of the Georgia-based Micro-Life Institute. The Institute is dedicated to building walkable, sustainable micro-hood communities, as well as providing compact office spaces to individuals who might need them. The Tiny House exhibit did not disappoint. There were a variety of models, including tiny homes with 2 stories, as well as a bus that had been converted into a tiny home complete with an upper deck for lounging. My favorite tiny house was a brown 400 square foot home complete with a loft for sleeping, a lower area for sitting and eating, a kitchen equipped with a stove, a microwave, and a refrigerator, and there was also a bathroom. It's truly amazing how so many of the essentials for living can be packed into such a small space. As we walked around the exhibit, we met lots of interesting people, including Akisi Stokes, the CEO and owner of a business called Wonder Grubs. Wonder Grubs is on a mission to feed 1 million people using protein-enriched food products made from farmed edible insects. Although I was not brave enough to sample any of the products, my husband Andrew sampled a cookie made from edible insects and confirmed that it was delicious. In addition to the tiny homes, there were a variety of different vendors at the exhibit, lots of festive music, and Tiny House Atlanta items for purchase. We even got to see a cool statue made out of steel and other recycled parts. Although living in a tiny house would not work for our lifestyle, our family absolutely loved the innovative ideas that comes with tiny home living, and we thoroughly enjoyed seeing all of the beautiful homes. To find out more about the next Tiny House Atlanta exhibit, go to www.microlifeinstitute.org/events. Well, we hope you enjoyed the Tiny House Atlanta exhibit. We need to take a break, but we will be right back. Don't go away.
Welcome back to the Elevate Talk Show, and today in our Meal of the Week segment, I'm going to be teaching you how to make some quick, easy, fluffy buttermilk biscuits, which are a great side dish, or you can have them at breakfast time and use them for breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah, buttermilk biscuits, I'm just going to be honest, they can be eaten all day long. I know, because I've eaten them all day long. So they're delicious. She makes great biscuits. Actually, there isn't very much that Adrianna makes that I don't like, so I'm a little prejudiced when it comes to that, but they are great, and they're easy, quick ways to just, like you said, have things that you can have with lunch, breakfast, or dinner. Right?
Yeah.
So take a look at our Meal of the Week segment with Adrianna.
Hello and welcome to the Meal of the Week segment. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some quick fluffy biscuits. So in this glass bowl right here I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, and 1 cup of chilled butter that's cut into about 1/4-inch pieces, and I'm going to stick that into the bowl. So now that I've put that into the bowl, I'm just going to mix all of these ingredients together. So now that I've finished mixing together all of the dry ingredients, I am going to put in 1 cup of buttermilk. So if you don't have buttermilk, you can make buttermilk by adding a tablespoon of white vinegar or apple cider vinegar to a cup of milk. So I'm just going to pour that in, and I'm going to slowly mix it in with the dry ingredients. Okay, so now that I've finished mixing the dough, I'm just gonna put the biscuits. Okay, so now that I've finished mixing the dough, I'm gonna put the biscuits into this glass pan so that I can bake it. So as you're mixing the dough, if you find that it's a bit dry, feel free to add another 1/4 cup of your buttermilk because you want it to be a nice sticky dough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some flour and I'm just going to sprinkle it over the bottom of the glass dish because I don't want the biscuits to stick. And I'm going to take some more flour and get it on my fingers and I'm just going to grab some dough and I'm just going to gently drop it into the pan like that. A lot of people will roll out their biscuit dough and cut it out, but I found that when I do that, the dough ends up being tough, so I prefer to make drop biscuits. So I've finished putting the biscuits into the pan. You'll get about 10 to 12 biscuits out of this recipe depending on how large you make them. So now I'm going to put these into a 450-degree oven for about 10 to 12 minutes and I'll be back to show you the final results. Alright, so the biscuits are ready and they are absolutely delicious. So they are perfectly delicious enough to eat plain or with a little butter and jelly, but what I like to do in the mornings is make sausage biscuits. I'm just going to take a biscuit and put it on my plate right here. I'll take another one. And then I'm just going to cut them each open. So, and then I will just put a piece of sausage on each biscuit and just make a little sandwich. So there you have it. This is a quick, easy morning meal. So I'm going to give you a close-up shot. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this week's recipe, and I can't wait to cook with you again next week.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that delicious video with the biscuits. We need to take one more break, but we will be right back, so don't go away. Almost out of time, but I want to remind you that the Elevate Talk Show puts out a new video, uploads a new video to our YouTube channel each Sunday evening around 7 o'clock. So if you're looking for the next thing, make sure to check us out on our YouTube channel by going to the Elevate Talk Show. You can also go to Comcast Channel 25 if you live in DeKalb County, Georgia at 7 o'clock and find us there. Or you can just go to DeKalb25.com, go online. You can stream us live at 7 p.m. on Sunday evenings, every Sunday at DeKalb25.com. So there's several ways to catch us. Adrianna?
Yes, so thank you for watching the Elevate Talk Show, and if you want to keep seeing more of our content, please remember to like, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our latest videos.
That's right, that's right. Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to watch the Elevate Talk Show. We will see you next time. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye now.